Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. And that is right. Do not adjust your monitors, your desktops, your laptops, your television screens. I am coming at you all with some NBA content. I will give you my NBA playoff bracket predictions today, here tonight for some of you. And this is when I really begin to start paying more attention to the NBA. I haven't really covered the NBA in like 3 years on this channel, but this is actually a season I've really kept up with. I bought League Pass this year, and I really felt comfortable making some NBA content in the playoffs and then even in the offseason a little bit. Now, don't get your hopes up. You're never going to get year-long NBA content from me, as long as I'm not a full-time content creator, which I'm not. Maybe one day. And then if that day comes, and hey, it's certainly possible, probably even likely. But as we transition, into the NFL draft, and then especially out of the NFL draft in the summer months, I mean, I'll still make NFL content, I'll still make Times content, but I'll be grasping for straws, and I'd rather make some NBA content because that's the more interesting things that is going on. So we're gonna begin, and we're gonna kick it off with my playoff predictions. Now, before the season, I'll just tell you, I had the Warriors repeating, and I had them over the Bucks, and I think I had that in 6 or 7. That was my preseason prediction, but this season has not gone as you would have anticipated for the Warriors, at least not the way I would have anticipated. So don't be surprised if I now stray away from that. So with that said, let's get to my setup here. Let's look at the bracket. Oh, and by the way, if you want to join me, I'm making a playoff challenge, ESPN NBA playoff bracket challenge. The link to this will be in the description box below. Password, all lowercase SFE. There won't be a prize for this one because I don't think there's going to be a big enough audience, but hopefully in the future, I don't know. If I keep making NBA content, then there's going to be more of an audience fed in the future. But go and try to beat me if you want to beat me. You're going to be spoiled with my picks here, but, who cares? All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and do it. Let's look at the bracket. Let's go through this thing. And I will tell you how many games I have going for each series because I don't think it exposes that here on ESPN. So with that said, also, should I probably zoom in this a little bit? No, it's actually pretty fine to see. Maybe if you're not on a smaller screen, you probably won't see it great, but it's good enough for me. All right, so let's begin with the Milwaukee Bucks against the winner of the Heat and the Bulls. And by the way, I'm not going to wait for these play-in games. I mean, I probably should have even made this video before yesterday, but I wanted to make sure some of these 7 seeds were going to get in, specifically the Lakers. That's really only the seed that, could really win the series, to be honest with you, and the Heat. But now the Heat, we have our concerns. And speaking of the Heat, look, I mean, I gave them a chance to maybe do something creative against the Celtics. I mean, they did take them to 7 games last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, but now, even if the Heat win tonight, they're not going to beat the Bucks. They don't match up well against the Bucks. Even if Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy B, shows up, I just don't see the Bulls winning the series. No matter if it's the Heat winning the series. No matter if it's the Bulls or the Heat, give me the Bucks. If it's the Heat, give me the Bucks in 5. If it's the Bulls, yeah, give me them in 5. I almost said sweep. I came very close to saying sweep right there, but I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say they win in 5 against either team. We move on to the Cleveland Cavaliers against the New York Knicks. And this is going to be a fun matchup. Now, neither one of these teams are going to win the NBA championship, barring ridiculous injuries moving forward in literally each and every round. But it's going to be fun to see 2 of these teams battle it out. And then hopefully one of these teams, is able to ascend next year to being one of the top 3 seeds in the NBA in the Eastern Conference, and then we can have much more of a discussion. But, for the Cavs, it needs some more maturity, more development from Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and even a little bit of Darius Garland and Isaac Okoro and such. But for this series, the way Donovan Mitchell's been playing, I gotta go with him here, man. He's 5th on my MVP ballot, and deservedly so. I think he's gonna keep up, his ridiculous play, and I think the Knicks are just gonna struggle to score. Julius Randle is gonna struggle to score against the Twin Towers that the Cavaliers have inside, and Donovan Mitchell's gonna do enough. It's gonna be fun, but I have the Cavs in 6, actually. I don't think it's gonna go to 7. I know people are expecting 7. I only have 6 here. Cavs winning 6. 76ers at the Nets. We're not at the Nets. See, look, I'm reading like it's the NFL. 76ers against the Brooklyn Nets here, 3-6 matchup. Okay, 76ers. I mean, The Nets have been a little spunky with Michael Bridges. I thought they were going to fall out of the playoffs entirely. I thought they were going to end up being the 7th or 8th seed and then lose the play-in, and then they'd be out of here. Surprisingly, they've held on to this position, mostly because they refuse to play Ben Simmons, and that's actually improved their team tremendously. Just don't play him, and then let Bridges and Johnson and them go off. And you know what? They're going to have some success here. I'll give them actually surprise. This by surprise. I'll give them 2 games. I think they'll sneak up 2 games, and the Sixers will take 6. But I have the Sixers winning here in 6, and then Celtics against Hawks. Celtics should make easy work of Hawks. I think it's going to be a sweep. I think it's going to be an absolute sweep. I'm happy the Hawks were, a little competitive and a little feisty to get to this position, but they're going to get swept, in my opinion, in the first round. So we move back to the top. We have the Bucks against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And again, the Cavs, you're just too young. And the Bucks are too old, by the way. That's going to be one of my arguments coming up. But, they're just more experienced. You're talking about Brook Lopez having such a great season. He's going to be able to mitigate some of the damage that Mobley does underneath. And then eventually the Bucks are just going to wind them down. I mean, you do like the fact that, Mobley and Allen should slow down Giannis to a certain extent. And they're going to be spunky here. But the Bucks are too experienced, too proven. I do think this could go 7. I would not be surprised if this goes 7. I'm going to say 6. I think it's going to be, is it going to be tied 2-2? I think it might be. And then people might start some conversations, but I just expect the Bucks and their championship moxie to pull through if they're healthy. Sixers, Celtics. So one of my bold predictions was actually that the Sixers were going to make at least the Eastern Conference Finals and were going to beat the Celtics. This was before the season. But now, heading into the season, I have to backtrack. The Celtics are a better team at this point. If the Sixers are facing the Bucks, then maybe I'd feel comfortable doing the upset here and finally picking the Sixers to be able to move forward to the Eastern Conference Finals under Joel Embiid. I am a Joel Embiid fan. I'd love to see him in that position. But the Sixers, just as a complete team at this point, they're not complete enough to beat the Celtics. They're the more complete team. If they're facing the Bucks, I give them much more of a chance. But the Celtics, if healthy, are more complete. The one thing that can derail the Celtics is the drama that's low key and underneath with Jaylen Brown and him maybe not wanting to be there long term, but they've continued to play well despite that, and they're getting Robert Williams, and he's back in the fold now, and he's playing well. It seems like everything's fine. To me, that's the only thing that can derail the Sixers. And on that note, or derail the Celtics, sorry. And on that note, I have the Celtics beating the Bucks. By the way, so Celtics beat the Sixers. I think that will go 6. I would want to go 7. I think it's actually going to go 6. I think they'll make decent work of the Sixers. But then Bucks, Celtics, I think it will go 7. I think everyone's anticipating this is going to go 7. But the problem with the Bucks for me is that Chris Middleton is not playing well. He's playing fine, but he's not playing well. He's been getting better every month, but he certainly has not been playing well. And now you're talking about, this Celtics team that now they're reaching the right age, right? Like Tatum, and maybe even they're still young. Like Tatum is still young to potentially be an NBA championship and NBA Finals MVP. He's like in that Dwayne Wade range, but that's where he's at. Jaylen Brown, same thing, maybe a little older, I guess, but by like a year. And then you're talking about, Marcus Smart. Like this is where they are really, it's their time to start winning championships. And again, as long as Jaylen Brown is able to stay focused and none of that drama is able to seep its way through, I think the Celtics are the better team. I think Brook Lopez, he's having a great season at, year 35. Great for him, or age 35, which is great for. I did not see this Brook Lopez season coming. He's averaging 2.5 blocks a game. He's averaging 15 points. He's been incredible. Wow, Brook Lopez has been so good. But I have to go with the Celtics. I just think it's their time, and I think they showed that even last year. Even though Chris Middleton was out, he's back. He's not making enough of an impact for me. I have the Celtics going to the NBA Finals. All right, so with that said, let's move over to the Western side. Let me see how I can do this because, actually, I know exactly how I can do this. Let me just move this over. Let me see if that works. That may not work because I have to get the Western Conference in frame. It's currently not in frame. Let me see how that shows on the Oh, it just moved out of. Okay, that's not what I want. How can I do this to show that side of the bracket? Sorry, this is some live fun here for some of you people. I'm trying to get it to show the right side without it. I guess you can see basically enough, but I'd like to see more. Let's see, what if I did Alt here and increase that? There we go. Okay, all right, I figured it out now. Beautiful. All right, so yeah, now let's look at the Western Conference side of things. Just moving this over in live real time. All right, cool. So Western Conference aspect of things. Let's begin with the Denver Nuggets against either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, you're looking at the Nuggets here, and I know a lot of people are sleeping on them. We'll discuss that more in a little bit, but I mean, first round, they should get it done. I have the Denver Nuggets winning this matchup here. Also, let me move my head, but I don't want to use my head. Let me move my head to the other side here. Although I'm still looking to the right, though, so that's kind of awkward. But, all right, whatever. All right, we move on. We have the Phoenix Suns against the LA Clippers. And for me, you know, if Paul George is healthy, then we... Oh, by the way, I have the Nuggets against either one of these teams in, let's say... I mean, really in 5. You know, it could even be... Yeah, OKC, I think, could win a game. Yeah, I'll say 5. Okay, so Suns against Clippers. So if Paul George was healthy, this would be a much more competitive series. But for me, the Clippers, people want to buy into them. I don't really know why, other than Kawhi Leonard playing, you know, a little bit better lately and even playing like to an MVP level to a certain extent. But I mean, the Suns are undefeated with Kevin Durant. I know that chemistry isn't fully there yet, but they're undefeated with Kevin Durant. And I just don't see how they're going to have enough firepower offensively to combat that when Kawhi Leonard is really your only really good shot creator. Maybe a little bit of Russell Westbrook and Norman Powell. It's not good enough for me. I have the Suns winning this matchup, and I have it actually happening in, I'll even go as far as say 5. I think it's not going to be that close. We have the Sacramento Kings against the Golden State Warriors, where this is a very interesting matchup to me, people. I mean, people are so ready. People are so ready to pick the Warriors to go on this run, to do all of this, and I'm not buying it. And I know this is shocking to a lot of you. I've seen the Warriors all season long, and they've had injuries, and now Wiggins is back, and we're going to see how much he's going to play and all of that, and we're all expecting them to just kind of turn on the Jets now that the playoffs start, but the Kings have been the better team all year. I know they only finished like 3 games better, but really that's like 5, 6, or 7 games better because the Kings have just not even been trying much the last couple of weeks. I think they're going to come out energized. They have a great home field advantage. Right now, the Warriors can't win on the road. They have one of the worst road records in the NBA. Give me the Sacramento Kings to win this series. I think it's going to be in 7, but in that 7 game, I just don't think the Warriors are going to have enough to win on the road. They can't win on the road. So some people have the Warriors going out to the NBA Finals. I have them losing in the first round to the Sacramento Kings. We have the Memphis Grizzlies against the LA Lakers. Now, I'm a Laker fan. I am a Laker fan. So if anyone's going to get excited and want to pick the Lakers to do something and to go on a run and to do it, should be me. I should be the number one guy saying this. Now, I like the potential of this because you're talking about, you know, AD and LeBron potentially going off on this younger team. But the Grizzlies have been the better team all season. And even the Lakers on this run that they've been on, they've beaten a lot of bad teams. The Grizzlies are great at home. The Lakers, you know, are so-so on the road. I think it's going to be a 7-game series and a fun series. But I got the Grizzlies, man. For the last 2 seasons, the Grizzlies have been impressing. They should have made the Western Conference Finals last year, but they fell to the Warriors. But this year, they're going to learn their lesson to me. And they're going to get this done even without Steven Adams. I think Ja's going to show up and they're really going to get it done. I know there's been controversy surrounding Ja and all of that. Don't really care. I have the Grizzlies winning there. All right, so so I'm all chalk so far. I think people are really expecting this to, and it is an interesting, playoffs. But I think everyone's expecting a lot of upsets, more than recent years. I'm all chalk so far. Now, this is where I'm going to divert. I will actually pick the Phoenix Suns to beat the Denver Nuggets. Again, You're talking about Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Josh Okogie. I mean, it's just too much firepower for me against Nuggets. Now, it's going to be a 7-game series. And I need to see what Jamal Murray is going to show up. If we get bubble Jamal Murray, the Nuggets are going to not only win this game, they're going to win the Western Conference. If bubble Jamal Murray shows up, the Nuggets are going to win the Western Conference and maybe even the NBA championship. I might even say probably the NBA championship. I just don't know if we're going to see that. We haven't seen that, and I need to know what type of Michael Porter Jr. we're going to get. I think next year might finally be the year for the Nuggets, but, they've been fading down the stretch. I think next year is the year they're really going to be upset. They're really going to be motivated, and that's the year they really get it done now that Jamal Murray really got another year of his legs under him. So I have the Suns winning here. So, Kings-Grizzlies. So Grizzlies get it done here. I think they'll make decent work. I think it'll be fun. It'll be 6 games. I really think people are now sleeping on the Grizzlies, which is interesting to me because they're only 2 games worse than the Nuggets, and that's with all the Ja Morant drama. They're still a really good team, guys. So Suns versus Grizzlies. And, Kevin Durant's just going to take these kids to school. If Kevin Durant is healthy, he's taking the Suns team to the finals. If Kevin Durant is healthy, he's taking this Suns team to the finals. So we have Celtics. And by the way, in that series, I have it being 6 games. And then the NBA Finals are the Boston Celtics against the Phoenix Suns. Now, this is where I'm afraid. Because, like I said, I'm afraid of Kevin Durant. And if they go all the way this far, I just can't see him losing in the finals. But there's a new Kevin Durant in town. And his name is Jason Tatum. And I believe this is going to be the changing of the guard. From where we now move from Kevin Durant being the pure best one-on-one scorer in the NBA, that elite scoring forward, 6'9", in this case 6'10" forward, to it being Jason Tatum. I think he could have took it last year. He choked. And I know for the last year, he's been stewing on this. He's been stirring on this. He's been waiting for this opportunity. Jaylen Brown finally ascended last year to being his true equal, or at least close to it. And now it's time for Jason Tatum in these finals to take over, do what he needs to do. I think the Celtics have way more depth than the Suns. That's going to come advantage when the Suns, who are older, with Chris Paul especially, lose steam. I have the Celtics winning this series. I think it's going to be a hell of a series. I have it in 7. And this tiebreaker, how many points will the Finals MVP score in the 2023 playoffs? Oh, geez. I'm going to have to think about that one before I finally submit my bracket. I'm going to go back and redo that for my prediction there. But Boston Celtics, I picked the Boston Celtics ultimately to win the NBA Finals this season. That is my prediction. So, with that said, what are your predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. Again, feel free to join me in the SFE 2023 NBA Playoff Challenge down below. Password all lowercase SFE, and we will find out. I will make some recaps here or there for some series. I'm probably going to make predictions for every round, so make sure to stick around at the very least for that, and maybe even some live stream play-by-plays if I have the time to do so as well. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.